And our next story takes us to the great city of Seattle. Something that SPOG President Mike Solon's talked about at his podcast when he addressed realtors, the great exodus that is going out of the city, all of these people that are leaving, how the property values are crashing, despite the fact that no evidence supports that whatsoever. And there was a study that came out by the, let me find it here one second, apartment list. They actually had a link. Seattle PI did the story. There was a link to the apartment list case study and all of the tools that they have there. My first thought was, and this is why I'm covering this, Jennifer, my first thought was, this is some marketing fluff piece, some company that, helps people find apartments. It was a really impressive, in-depth case study with tools and models, and you can click this and pick this city and that city and slice and dice. It was very, very impressive. And so this is what they came up. 18% of renters in Seattle were looking elsewhere for apartments this last quarter compared to the year before. See, 18% are leaving. The city's a crime-riddled cesspool, just like Fox News is telling me.
You're not the same. I'm an American. You're a sick asshole.
It's an increase of 4% from a year ago. The top 3 areas where Seattle renters are looking to move is Olympia, Los Angeles, that's right, California, and Phoenix. But there isn't a mass exodus going because this same report also looked at where people are looking to come to Seattle. And 17% of renters who live in the metro area but don't live in Seattle are looking to move into the city. So you got 18% looking to move somewhere else, but you got 17% on the fringes looking to move in part because rents have depressed because of COVID, and they want to move in closer in anticipation of having to return to offices. I'm actually surprised by that because I've been saying people aren't going to do it. I guess I'm wrong. I should stick to weather forecasts. But there's another group. Renters in Los Angeles, San Francisco, and Portland, Oregon are also looking to move in Seattle. And when you add up the math, Jennifer, on the net difference of the plus and the minus, it all coming back, it's just what Andrew Grant Houston said. It's less than 1%. So it's about neutral. So there's no exodus out of the city.
What? People are wanting to leave the burning city behind, the burning crime-filled anarchist jurisdiction behind?
I know. I've seen on Fox News.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Crazy.
I didn't get a lot of, I know a lot of people got phone calls over the summer and it's what's going on? I heard in the news, I saw pictures, and it's like, those were pictures of other cities that Fox News was attributing to Seattle. Yeah. That wasn't going on here. And we've now learned almost a year later that most of the, not all, but most of the fires, the major fires, the AutoZone fire and the 3rd Precinct fire in Minneapolis, were set by white nationalists who were just trying to stir the pot.
Big shocker there, right?
I know. Big shocker there indeed. Just as we have learned here in Seattle, when we look at the events on May 30th, only one individual who was sentenced, we reported on that individual was sentenced out of Edmonds, was the only person that was local. Everybody else was from out of the city or out of state and purposely went there to cause problems on that day. And they were in no way supportive of George Floyd, Black Lives Matter, or associated with anything other than watching crap burn. What a shock. Oh, and they were all white. And then the only other person, Jennifer, that was even close was this guy out of Everett who turns out to be a gun-running gangbanger who is now on murder charges from murder, I believe, out of Renton.
Yeah. Crazy, those things those white men do and try to blame on everybody else.
Just as we're trying to see What's going on in the defense in Minneapolis? It was George Floyd's drug problem. It was the angry crowd problem. It was a lack of training problem. It was everybody
Yeah.
else's problem. I'm wondering when they're going to blame Al Qaeda or the Clintons.
It was Antifa. It was all Antifa. That's next.
Too much Fox
There,
News.
there was Antifa
Anyway,
plants.
go ahead. Go ahead.
I said there was Antifa plants in the crowd. That's why,
I haven't been called Prestifa in a long time. I guess it's kind of a hard label to slap on us a year later now with everything that is going on.